But I just thought it might be useful to take stock and have some thoughts about where forward. And also to look at what happened over the last year. You know, we've had a whole load of grants. Some of us, like Martin, have managed to get multiple awards, but we can't complain that he's being greedy. I just heard from Donald Mackenzie the latest good news story, which is that Jan Webb's part of a consortium that got an EPSRC award for a project on data-driven socio-technical energy management in public sector buildings. So that will be with Nigel Goddard, the work she's been doing on smart metered homes now extended more generally. So there's a lot of money coming through. Interestingly, not necessarily so much from ISSTI. We're getting awards from different kinds of funders. We've had a whole swathe of of activities, as well as the monthly STIS seminars, international kinds of workshops. I haven't mentioned here the workshop that Ronan talked about on the energy markets, energy infrastructures. But these are kind of things which have kind of tried to put Edinburgh on the map and keep us up to pace with developments in the field. And it seems to me that one of the challenges for us is to build our knowledge communities internally and to build them externally, and we can quite often do those together. But in the past, I think STS as a field and us as a group haven't done enough disciplinary work. We haven't attended. We know about disciplinary work. We think disciplinary work is something that other people do, and we fail to apply our own insights into how it is that science has advanced. But for example, we're helping to set up a new UK-wide association for studies of science, innovation and technology, ISSTI, which has existed in the past as a kind of an organisation linking Sprue and Edinburgh and the leading centres, and now it's going to be turned into a membership organisation. At the end of this month, there'll be a meeting to launch that. Jane and I have been busily trying to develop links with Korea, and here, when we were, we think STS grew by being collegiate. It grew in the UK by being collegiate. It grew as a European endeavour with a lot of interconnection between Netherlands and Denmark and UK and Germany and Paris. And we're trying to extend that kind of collegiate network-oriented approach as we build our links into Korea, to follow a strategy that we also followed in China. And Xiaobei is kind of coordinating our links with China, which now go back a number of years. And I've mentioned the network was set up with Ari and Mario Peggioli. So we're doing some new network building. This is a slide from the 2013 wind-up session, and I flagged the kind of multiple kind of groupings that exist in the area. And I suppose to add to that, we could be at this afternoon's an e-health workshop. There's the Mason Institute workshop later on today. There's something on digital innovation. Actually, we're getting so busy we can't get to all the events that we organise. So it's a very rich and diverse community we're here. And then over the last year, some new groupings have emerged. Steve and Christina Boswell are forming this Centre for Science and Policy Scape, which will be launched at the end of towards the end of the month. But we had a couple of informal sessions recently. Anne Bruce had a meeting with people in the Scottish Agricultural College, SRUC as it's now called, to discuss agricultural innovation as a domain, and which had possible links with the new group that Christina was talking about in a food research group. And then Graham and I, because of our work on fire safety and our links with architecture, have had some discussions on innovation in construction, which looks like it might come forward. So there are these kind of proto-embryonic groups in the formation. And then, well, the question is, what do we do then? On the one hand, it shows that we've got these dynamic, unfolding, continually developing sets of engagements. But what are the conditions for carrying forward and succeeding with those? So, for example, the thing I noticed with the Agricultural Innovation Systems group and some people we met also who do health service technology implementation, is that they have cut down versions of STS that they use, which are good enough as a pragmatic team, but they're kind of very dated. And actually, so we think there's some kind of interesting advantage to us to help these groups renew their understanding of the latest thinking in technology studies. So there's clearly some benefit from that collaboration. But Christina was flagging what happens when STS comes to a field that's already well entrenched. Do we need different strategies there? Why should an entrenched group embrace and invite STS to share access to resources and to cognitive authority? Well, I suppose the answer is groups will work with us if they can trade their expertise to advantage by collaborating. So we need to think about the circumstances under which we can trade our expertise to advantage. And I've suggested already that we've got kind of, we've got some generic tools that can be widely made. We're also able to move at multiple scales. We're able to move, I thought we were able to move from kind of long trends of history to the micro sociology of interaction, and that gives us a possibility of intervening in different debates. So it seems to me that we have strategies for engaging with people. One of the things we're quite good at doing is building cross-disciplinary collaborations. When there's a bit of research funding available, some policy initiative is taken forward, we're quite good at setting up teams of kind of engineers and maybe people from business studies and STS specialists, domain specialists and STS. We're quite good at producing those cross-disciplinary groupings. On the other hand, listening to John's work made me think about the benefits of staying in one field for a very, very long time. There's kind of there's fast research and there's slow research, and both have enormous value to us. I was struck by Christina in her work on food, how she presaged that by an understanding of how she wanted to intervene in a set of fields that were working together. And I think that kind of strategic sense of where we're wanting to intervene analytically, intellectually, is important. And in particular, then, I was struck by how Johan's pronouncement differed to maybe the vision we got from some of the UK researchers. Johan said, well, he got a gang of colleagues to commit for 5 years. And that way, they were able to really transform an intellectual environment. Now, I think in the UK, we often feel not so much in control, so we find it hard to set out long-term projects like that. But it seems to me some ambition in setting ourselves intellectual goals is helpful and can help give direction and impetus to the work that we're doing. Conclusion I take is that STS is this composite. It has composite strength from combining different kinds of research. And we've got horses for courses. We've got some people who are quite pleased to do policy-oriented research, some people who prefer to do long-term scholarship. But how can we actually benefit by bringing those different kinds of research together? And here I use the idea of the multi-level game, where we attend both to how we deal with the sponsors' needs, how we deal with the people we're collaborating with and their needs of information and insights, but also how we attend to what we're doing within our own intellectual community. So that's a slide we had from 2013 about grand challenges. It hasn't changed very much. The BRAIN programme hasn't happened yet, but maybe that's about to take off. I take your point, Jane, about not trying to have a kind of finite map, but sometimes it seems to me that we can be more proactive in terms of how we identify opportunities coming up. And certainly digital social research is one area where we've had some successes and more successes to follow through. I want to then just talk a little bit about ISSTI. This is also a slide from 2013. Now, ISSTI, it seems to me, works as this network of networks. It's deliberately lightweight. It doesn't require a vast amount of resources. It works opportunistically. We use external examiners as public lecturers. We kind of try and piggyback one event on another, and in that way kind of use external speakers to foment the formation of internal communities. So we actually managed to have a lot of benefit with rather few admin costs. Now we're looking here towards how we should organise ISSTI in future. And this year we're going to have a review of ISSTI, as institutes have to have periodic reviews. So over the next months, there will be a formal review of ISSTI. And I think that provides us with an opportunity to think about how we organise and how ISSTI has changed. It's changed because STIS has formed itself as a very successful subject group, which involves maybe half of the intellectual community doing work in science and technology studies. ISSTI represents that group and attempts to engage another 50 people who are the people doing science and technology related research outside ISSTI. And as I say, it works well as a network. Our main methods of operation are people are sending each other emails all the time, organising events and the like. But maybe it's time to think about how that should be governed. So over the next few months, we will be thinking about a new governance structure, and we'll be talking to people about a new governance structure. We'll be trying to formalise the membership, who is and isn't in it, and we'll be thinking about a governance arrangement where, actually, if you look at how we work, there's a gang of usual suspects. James Smith, if we're doing stuff on development and innovation. If it's about the work with the Art College, Chris Speed, he gets everywhere. There's a gang of people who, through their actions, are contributing to the dynamism of this collaborative network. And my sense is that if those people are the people who are keeping the network alive, then if we are needing to have managerial decisions, it would perhaps be most sensible to have those people constitute a new governance structure, a management committee or an advisory committee of ISSTI. Anyhow, so we'll be in touch with you about how those ideas for how ISSTI should be organised and created should be carried forward. And maybe, actually, if we've got time, perhaps we could just do other people have. I'm just worried about the clock. We've got 3 minutes left, so we haven't got very long to talk on this. Perhaps people should contact me and we'll find another time and place to have a discussion. But we would welcome suggestions for how this roadshow should be organised. But I think I should give time to do thanks to various people. Thanks, of course, as ever, to Anne Valentine and Geraldine Debard, who did the booking of the rooms, arranged the transport, the food and everything else. So although Geraldine's sick today, so isn't here yet again to hear our thanks, and Anne Valentine's on holiday, can we applaud them for their inputs in their absence, please? And thanks to the student group who did a great presentation, and Kate and Hong and Sarah who helped in the organisation of the event. Special thanks, I think, are due to Valerie. He's not just been the guy who has been videoing this. And last year he did some really interesting things, putting the ISSTI talks online. And that's a really important resource. And now we're professionalising the way we distribute information. But also, we're beginning to put a machinery of tweets and other social media to network our activities and let other people know just how exciting things are here. And Valerie has played an important role in that, enormously important role in that. And can we say how much we value that input with the same? Okay. We had loads and loads of speakers. Half of them are still in the room, so we can thank them. So thanks to everybody who attended. Thanks to everybody who presented. And special thanks to Johanna Schott, our keynote speaker for today, for the 2014. And shall we stop there? Okay, thanks. And as I say, I would welcome comments about the ISSTI governance arrangements and structure, because that's something we need to think about in the years to come. Ciao.